Biochemistry is a branch of science concerned with the chemical and physiochemical processes that occur within living organisms. In basic terms, it is the study of chemistry and living things. One of the first signs of biochemistry was back in 1833 when Ansel and Payne discovered the first enzyme. An enzyme is a protein capable of producing certain chemical changes in organic substances by a catalytic action. Although it is known as biochemistry now, that term was not first mentioned until 1882 and then not accepted officially until 1903. Back then, it was referred to physiological chemistry. It was a new branch of study and no one really took interest until the 20th century. There were monumental discoveries. Frederick Gullen Hopkins discovered vitamins around 1916. Charles Best and Frederick Banting discovered insulin in 1921. Gertie Corey discovered the catalytic conversion of glycogen, a white tasteless polysaccharide constituting as the principal carbohydrate storage material in animals in 1929. That brought advances in understanding how the body produces and stores energy, plus aided in finding treatments for diabetes. In the 1960s, Hargobind Khorana discovered the roles of nucleotides, a group of molecules that are the building blocks for DNA or RNA when linked together in protein synthesis. He found that the nucleotide code is transmitted in groups of 3, called codons, to the cells. Some codons are responsible for signaling to the cells to start or stop the manufacture of proteins. The person with the biggest impact in biochemistry was Frederick Sanger. He discovered the Sanger method for sequenced DNA in 1977. Sanger sequencing is a method of DNA sequencing based on the selective incorporation of chain-terminating D-deoxynucleotides by DNA polymerase during in vitro DNA replication. Some biochemists even wrote books to help others understand what biochemistry was. Isaac Asimov wrote many science fiction books, the most known being Nightfall. Nightfall is about the coming of darkness to the people of a planet ordinarily illuminated at all times on all sides. Most books about biochemistry were either textbooks or autobiographies of biochemists. A popular autobiography written by Tom Hager is about biochemist Linus Pauling. Linus had founded the fields of quantum chemistry and molecular biology, but his contributions to biochemistry was using X-ray crystallography to examine the atomic structures of complex biological molecules. After the 70s, it seemed like biochemistry was becoming a standstill. The main questions of the field had remained unanswered. Why do enzymes exhibit faster than diffusion kinetics? What are the chemical origins of life? How did non-living chemical compounds generate self-replicating complex life forms? Can desired molecules, natural products, or otherwise be produced in high yield through biosynthetic, a laboratory preparation of biological molecules by the use of reagents or catalysts derived from natural substances and modeled on a series of reactions occurring in a living organism? Pathway manipulation? The world wanted answers, but biochemists did not know themselves. Today, these old and new questions have arose. A popular one for debate is about vaccines. A vaccine is an efficient way to prevent sickness and death from infectious diseases. For example, the eradication of smallpox and almost all of polio. The simplified biochemical process to make a vaccine is as follows. First, you generate the antigen, which is any substance foreign to the body that will trigger an immune response. Second, you release and isolate the antigen. This will separate the antigen from the cells and isolate it from the proteins and other things grown in the petri dish. Lastly, you purify the antigen to produce a better quality of the product. Why is this an issue for debate? Some cons are the possibility for side effects. Some say it links to autism, the fear of thimerosal, an organic mercury compound used in the flu vaccine, and the use of the bacteria in the vaccine to treat the disease could possibly not be eradicated in one's immune system. But the pros are that it can save lives, the ingredients are safe in the amount used, medical organizations state they are safe, reactions are rare, and there is proof of eradication of other diseases. Other debates revolve around the recommendation for the omega-6 fatty acid. These acids are produced during and after physical activity for the purpose of promoting growth during the inflammatory cascade to halt cell damage and promote cell repair. Experts from the American Heart Association say it lowers incidence of cardiovascular diseases based on current intake. But biochemist experts say this high intake increases the chance of chronic illnesses, including asthma, various cancers, and neurological disorders, and cardiovascular disease. There is no right or wrong answer yet, but many biochemists research to find the answer. There are other less controversial ideas biochemists explore in research. For example, wearable sensors are being developed to detect sweat based on biochemicals. These sensors would be able to determine fatigue, dehydration, and possibly other health issues. Another idea is exploring BPA and BPSs in plastic. Currently, it was found that replacing BPAs with BPSs have sped up the embryonic development and disrupted the reproductive system. For as new as the field of biochemistry is, there have been many significant discoveries in the last century, and there are many more to come.